Bulubinaka. Well, if I knew I was the first one to speak today, I would never come early. But on the other hand, I wrote down a small speech since Letitia said keep it to 5 to 7 minutes. I have a special relationship with the mic, so if I go longer than that, please, yes, ring that bell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I stand before you today to celebrate the launch of Disruptive Voices for Pacific Men. Today marks a significant milestone in our ongoing efforts to create safe spaces for men to speak out on issues that affect their lives. For too long, men in our communities have been silenced by the stigma and shame surrounding mental health, domestic violence, and addiction. Disruptive Voices for Pacific Men aims to break down these barriers by providing a platform for men to share their stories, seek support, and challenge traditional gender roles. One issue that has come to the forefront in recent years is the proliferation of pornography in our society. It is deeply concerning to learn that Fiji is ranked in the top 10 countries in the world for pornography viewership. And for a country as small as Fiji, that is alarming. Not only that we rank top 10 in the world in pornography viewership, we also rank top in the world in other issues as well. If you've been following the media over the last few weeks, our percentage rate of HIV and AIDS have increased tremendously over the years. One of the other things, if we have been consistently following the DPP stats over the last few months, rape and other issues have surfaced and have increased a lot as well. And one of the things that we always, for me, because I work with Lifeline Fiji, and also we deal with mental health and suicide prevention, one of the things that we have seen over the years as well is the increased number of suicide that has happened. If we look into suicide in Fiji, compared to last year, from January to June last year, we lost around 40 people to suicide. This year alone, from January to June, we have lost around 52 people to suicide. And that is an alarming number. And also to put a much more bigger focus on that, 41 of the 52 completed cases of suicide are men. So the question is, why men? Why are we on the top chain of everything? Why are we so succumbing to this normal behavior that we have always tried to, do it. We always try to think of it. And the question again comes in is that, do we have safe spaces? Are our churches our safe space? Are our youth groups our safe space? Our women's club is our safe space? Is our men's club our safe space? But one of the things that we have found out over the years as well is that most of our safe spaces have been the nightclubs. Most of our safe spaces has been that cigarette butt that friend has offered. Most of our safe spaces is at that peer group that would take you in because you have succumbed to the normal things that they are dealing with. And to address this issue, we need to provide safe spaces for men to discuss the impact of pornography on their lives and relationships. And the reason why I'm bringing this over is that during my journey, getting into advocating on mental health and working with youth development and community development, in a point of my life, I went and started my work with these vulnerable communities. I know, if you're watching today, this is normal, because I am someone who have been raised up in the village. I am someone who have been raised up at our heart homes in Fiji. And at a very young age, I would know that if I have to follow a certain peer group, I have to succumb to what they have. And over and over and over again, repeatedly, I've been with groups who are older than me, 10 times, 15 times older than me when I was young, who would gather around young boys and come and gather them inside a house and also let them watch porn. And this is something that has been normalized and something that we don't talk about often. I thought that only happened during my time when I was young. But when I started off with my journey on youth development, when doing my courses, I then realized that these things are still going on. And we need to stop it. Again, the question is how? How are we going to stop all these things that are happening? Normalizing conversations within your families. Normalizing conversation with your kids. Normalizing conversations about sex. Normalizing conversations about relationships. Normalizing conversations that if you go through things, this is not the solution. At a very young age, I was exposed to this. Growing up, at the back of my mind, the good thing was that I was part of a family where my parents were pastors. And my father was a Talatalangase and my mother was a Randini Talatalangase. But if you're listening today and forever that is here, I would say the most rebellious children are the Talatalas kids. Because we normally hide behind that curtain that we are innocent. But one of the things that growing up, until when I first had my first relationship, and when that relationship broke down, things from my past came back. I started thinking of things that I was exposed to when I was young. I had come to a place where I had multiple partners. I've also come to a place where everything I do is normal. It's not a sin anymore. And this is why I'm pledging with all of us that are sitting and that are listening, stop normalizing all these things. Start addressing it face front. If you don't address it now, if you don't talk about it now, your kids, your friends, Your families will hear it and will talk about it from somewhere else. Disruptive Voices for Pacific Men is an important step in this direction by engaging men in conversations about mental health, addiction, and healthy sexuality. We can build stronger, more resilient communities that support well-being of all its members. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to working with you in all to create a brighter future for Pacific men and their families. And before I end, one of the things that I would like to leave us with, and I would just like to tell a short story. Before I got married, one of the things that I tried to work on was myself. And looking back with all multiple partners, everything that I was doing, bad things that I was so succumbed to, I realized that I had to work on myself. I have to first heal myself from the pain that I was going through in order to go into this relationship of having a wife and having a kid. So to leave us with this evening, I would like to say a line, and it goes like this: heal before having children, so your children don't have to heal from having you as a parent. With that, Vinaka Valego.